Step into the shadows!
Every story has legends worth remembering.
And we're here to bring them to life.
From masterminds of chaos to villains lost in time.
We'll explore their stories with a little fun along the way.
Welcome, legends and lore seekers. I am All Night. Together, we'll step into the shadows of storytelling's most feared icons.
And I'm Solara Blaze. If you thought heroes were fun, wait till you meet the villains. They're sneaky, scary, sometimes hilarious, and always unforgettable.
Here on Legendary Villains, we uncover the secrets, origins, and the true power behind the greatest villains from comics, anime, and beyond.
From the diabolical masterminds to the chaotic clowns, we've got the whole rogues gallery lined up just for you.
So, if you love a good story wrapped in darkness and danger,
then hit that subscribe button and join us on the ultimate villainous adventure.
welcome to Legendary Villains. Now let our daring adventure begin.
Welcome back, fellow villain hunters. Tonight we dive deep into one of the most cunning, refined, and yes, underrated masterminds in the rogues gallery of Gotham. We're stepping into the smoky back rooms of Gotham, where a distinctive silhouette holds court. He's often underestimated, sometimes mocked, but always a threat.
Oh, I know this guy. He's the one with the fancy suits, the funny waddle, and the umbrella that probably holds more gadgets than my entire tech drawer.
That's right, we're talking about Oswald Chesterfield Cobblepot, better known as the Penguin. We'll explore his creation, his major comic book milestones, his powers and weaknesses, his biggest victories and clashes, plus some must-read issues if you want to go further.
He's Gotham's self-proclaimed gentleman of crime, but beneath that dapper exterior lies a mind as sharp and ruthless as any predator. Get ready to dive into his surprising origins, his rise to power, and the pivotal moments that cemented his place as one of Batman's most iconic adversaries. You might just find yourself intrigued. Stick around, hit subscribe, and let's plunge into the cold waters of Gotham's underworld. Let's begin.
Birth of a Bird, Origin and Debut. To truly understand the Penguin, we must travel back to his debut. He first graced the pages of Detective Comics number 58 in December 1941. A creation by the legendary duo Bob Kane and Bill Finger, the Penguin quickly became a staple in the DC Comics universe as one of the classic villains in the Batman mythos.
Over 80 years of villainy, can you believe it? Right away he stood out. Top hat, monocle, umbrella, just a different kind of bad guy. His initial design was actually inspired by the cigarette advertising mascot, Willie the Penguin. Pretty unique for a villain, right?
Indeed. From those humble, somewhat quirky beginnings, Oswald Cobblepot embarked on a path that would see him evolve from a simple thief with a bird gimmick into a shrewd, sophisticated crime lord. He wasn't born with superpowers, but his unique intellect and ruthless ambition became his greatest weapons. He essentially developed his power through sheer force of will and a brilliant criminal mind. His visual and thematic style has evolved many times, yet that gentleman of crime persona stayed central.
So no radioactive umbrella bite? Just pure old-fashioned criminal genius. I love it.
The ascent of Oswald, personality, powers, and weaknesses.
Now let's talk origin. How did Oswald become the Penguin? Unlike many supervillains, he doesn't get superpowers in the usual way. He's more a criminal mastermind with a twist. His real name, Oswald Chesterfield Cobblepot. He emerges in Gotham's crime scene with an elegant facade, but ruthless beneath. He loves birds, especially penguins. His umbrellas aren't just for show either. They're like his personal Swiss Army knife of doom. Gas, guns, blades, even flight capabilities. Talk about a versatile accessory. He runs legitimate fronts like the Iceberg Lounge, which doubles as a hub for Gotham's underworld, providing information, illegal goods, and even hitmen for a price.
Yes, his true power isn't superhuman strength or flight, but his genius-level intellect, his business acumen, network of underworld contacts, and a peculiar aesthetic that gives him identity. But let's highlight specific issues. His origin in Detective Comics number 58, December 1941, introduces him as a high society art theft crook who then moves to full criminal empire mode. Later issues give backstory. For example, Secret Origins Special number 1, August 1989, offers more glimpses into his childhood and motivations.
Yet his weaknesses are also quite human. Despite his elegance, his physical stature makes him vulnerable in direct combat. He often relies on henchmen. He can be outsmarted by people stronger in brute force or more psychologically twisted. His arrogance? That can be his undoing. His ego can be easily bruised, leading to reckless acts. His constant need for respect and recognition can be exploited. Also, his obsession with style and status sometimes distracts him. And of course, the primary protagonist, Batman, is always one step ahead.
Defining moments, best comic, and achievements. While the Penguin is most famously a Batman antagonist, his influence naturally extends into various storylines and character interactions across the DC universe. He primarily operates within the Gotham sphere, but his criminal dealings sometimes brush up against larger events.
He's usually too busy making a profit to worry about cosmic threats, but he definitely has his moments. Now here's your reading list, folks. Some of the most important Penguin comics you should check out.
Detective Comics number 58, December 1941. We go all the way back to 1941, the golden age of comics. In a world of Cape Crusaders and mad clowns, a new kind of villain waddled in the Gotham's pages for the very first time. This was the birth of Batman's most refined enemy.
So here's how it begins. Gotham's high society art collectors are being robbed one by one, priceless paintings and jewelry just vanishing. And at each crime scene, witnesses mention a strange little man with a top hat, a monocle, and an umbrella that seems a bit too dangerous to be just for the rain.
Batman begins investigating, of course, but this crook isn't like the others. He doesn't use brute force or chaos. He uses class. He disguises himself, outsmarts cops, and framed Batman as the thief. The cops arrested Batman, but Penguin kidnapped him to use him as insurance for his robbery.
Later, Robin rescued Batman, but he is still a fugitive to the cops.
Batman finally tracks him down and confronts him to foil his robbery attempt. But the Penguin, true to his reputation, uses his trick umbrella to make his escape. In the climax scene, both Batman and Robin cornered Penguin. Before he uses the trick umbrella again, Batman strikes him quickly to drop the umbrella. In last effort, Penguin fights Batman on a railway track as a train comes towards them. Penguin uses this distraction to escape from Batman again. He vanishes into the night, but not before proving one thing. Gotham's newest criminal isn't just a thief. He's a strategist, a symbol of sophistication turned sinister. Later, Batman and Robin returned all the stolen items to the cop, thus he cleared his name.
And that's how it ends. Penguin slipping away, Batman vowing to stop him again. It's simple, classic, and it sets the tone for everything that comes after. The Iceberg Lounge, the gadgets, the criminal empire, it all begins here. The Penguin, Pain and Prejudice, December 2011 to April 2012. Sometimes villains aren't born evil, they're sculpted by pain. And the Penguin, Pain and Prejudice shows us exactly how Oswald Cobblepot became Gotham's coldest gentleman of crime.
This 5-issue miniseries peels back the tuxedo and reveals the heart beneath, scarred, lonely, and desperate for control.
The series frequently employs dark flashbacks to Oswald's formative years, which contrasts the adult Penguin's current criminal activities with flashbacks to his miserable childhood. Oswald Cobblepot grew up in a wealthy family, but absolutely unloved by society. We see Oswald as a child, mocked for his looks, bullied relentlessly by other children, by his brothers. And his father? He hated having a son who didn't fit the Cobblepot image. His only solace was his overprotective, wealthy mother, who babied him and shielded him from the harshness of the outside world.
When Oswald's father dies of pneumonia, his mother becomes overprotective. She forces Oswald to always carry an umbrella. Terrified, she'll lose him too. And while she loves him, her overprotection isolates him. The world outside becomes colder, and Oswald's heart starts learning the same.
One day, Oswald witnesses the ultimate cruelty. Bullies kill his pet bird, the only innocent creature that loved him. That moment breaks him. Something inside him snaps. He learns that kindness is a weakness and cruelty is currency. He realizes the world respects only one thing: power. His umbrella becomes a shield, and later, a weapon. So begins the transformation. He studies crime, learns manipulation, learns how to hide rage behind charm, builds his own criminal network. And the boy becomes the man becomes the Penguin.
Oswald cold-heartedly murdered his 3 older brothers. The murders were designed to look like a series of accidents. Jason, the youngest brother, died of food poisoning after Oswald laced his food with rat poison. William, the middle brother, was the victim of a planned hit-and-run accident where Oswald ran him over with a truck. Robert, the eldest brother, drowned in a frozen lake after Oswald strategically melted a patch of ice where he often played hockey, then watched him fall in. These murders stemmed from years of severe bullying and his twisted, obsessive desire to have his mother's unconditional love and attention all to himself. Later, his father, Tucker Cobblepot, died of pneumonia after being caught in a heavy rainstorm. During his father's illness, Oswald, his mother, Esther, was caring for him. But Oswald, driven by his deep desire to eliminate his abusive father, ensured his condition worsened.
He is a feared crime lord who uses his intelligence and power to ensure no one can make him feel as weak as he did as a child, with Batman being the only remaining bully in his world. And yet, beneath all the wealth and control, he's still that lonely child craving love. When his mother falls ill and later died, we see the only time Oswald truly breaks, showing us that even monsters can cry.
In the present day, having established himself as a prominent Gotham mobster, Oswald orchestrates a seemingly perfect romance with a beautiful, blind woman named Cassandra, who sees past his looks and falls in love with the man of power she perceives him to be. Oswald showers her with expensive gifts and attention. The core of his affection is rooted in a sick delusion. He believes Cassandra is the only woman capable of loving him because her blindness prevents her from seeing his hideous physical appearance. He feels safe from judgment with her.
While navigating this complex relationship, Oswald is simultaneously running his criminal empire with brutal efficiency. Meanwhile, crime in Gotham spikes in a strangely coordinated way, guided attacks using mechanical birds. Oswald used mechanical birds, including a large robotic penguin that was meant to be a bomb, and trained live birds to attack Gotham out of a deep-seated desire for vengeance against society and his past tormentors. They're Oswald's creation, symbolizing the birds taken from him as a child, now turned into weapons he controls. It's revenge. The world mocked him through childhood, so he sends his birds to strike back at society.
Investigating the attacks and bizarre crimes across Gotham, Batman begins piecing together the pattern. All clues lead back to one man, the Penguin. Batman tried to warn Cassandra about Penguin's evil persona, but she refused to believe him.
In a tragic climax, as Batman closes in, the Penguin and Cassandra hide in a safe room. In a moment of panic and deeply rooted insecurity, he fears her touching his face will reveal his ugliness and cause her to reject him, as everyone else had. He lashes out and stabs her, killing the only woman besides his mother who ever loved him. Her dying words reveal she thought he was handsome, a final devastating twist that solidifies the Penguin's self-inflicted isolation and monstrousness. He doesn't just murder her, he does so in a way that attempts to confirm his twisted worldview. He makes sure she can't see the face of her killer, thus ensuring that in his mind, she died loving an ideal rather than the monster he believes himself to be.
The story ends with Batman capturing the Penguin, but the focus remains on the tragic psychological profile of the villain. The miniseries concludes by framing Oswald Cobblepot not just as a mob boss, but as a deeply broken man, forever imprisoned by his own pain, prejudice, and self-loathing. He achieved the respect and power he craved, but at the cost of the one chance he had for genuine love. And that's how Pain and Prejudice ends. Not with a grand explosion, but a broken man sitting alone in a cold cell.
Pain and Prejudice turned the Penguin from a comic caricature to a tragic figure, a man shaped by cruelty, defined by grief, and driven by a need for respect he'll never truly earn.
It's not just a villain's tale, it's a mirror showing what pain can do when love disappears.
Not every villain fight with fists or powers. Some control the game without ever leaving their chair. And Showcase 94 number 7, 1994 proves that's the Penguin's true talent.
This story isn't about chaos, it's about control. While others blow up buildings, Oswald Cobblepot builds an empire, one conversation at a time.
The story, Cracks, is a psychological game centered entirely on the Penguin and Commissioner Gordon during the Nightfall era of Batman, when John Paul Valley, originally known as the vigilante Azrael, had taken over the mantle Batman. After the villain Bane broke Bruce Wayne's back, leaving him paralyzed, a physically and mentally exhausted Bruce, unable to continue as Batman, entrusted the mantle to John Paul Valley, a decision he made because he wanted to spare his first protege, Dick Grayson, also known as Nightwing, from facing Bane.
The Penguin kidnaps James Gordon's wife, Sarah Essen Gordon, and hides her in a giant egg filling with gas. He then voluntarily turns himself into the police, waiving counsel and demanding to be interrogated solely by Gordon. The ensuing confrontation is a tense battle of wits within the interrogation room, where Gordon desperately tries to uncover his wife's location.
The Penguin's primary goal is not a ransom or an escape. It is to psychologically break Commissioner Gordon and, more importantly, change his own archenemy from Batman to Gordon. He reveals his fear of the current, hyper-violent Batman, John Paul Valley, and wants a more predictable, traditional foe. He taunts Gordon, reflecting on the brutal changes in Gotham's protector, which mirrors the growing brutality in Gordon himself under the strain of the situation. His manipulation pushes Gordon to the edge, highlighting the moral cracks appearing in Gotham's heroes during this period.
The Penguin successfully drives Gordon into a rage, leading Gordon to physically assault him and threaten to throw him off the police headquarters rooftop. This moment confirms the Penguin's fears about the new, violent climate in Gotham. However, the confrontation is interrupted by the arrival of the current Batman, who had ignored the bat signal at the GCPD, knowing it was a diversion, and instead tracked down and rescued Sarah Essen Gordon himself. The Penguin's plan fails, and he's left in custody, having discovered that neither Gordon nor the current Batman will play by his established rules.
A masterclass in subtle villainy, one that shows just how deep the Penguin's shadow reaches. Among all Penguin stories, this one is surprisingly heartbreaking. Joker's Asylum, Penguin 2008, dives deep into Oswald Cobblepot's mind, showing how cruelty shaped him into the villain Gotham fears. Love, respect, and a chance to be seen as more than a monster.
And the best part? The Joker himself narrates it. Like a twisted storyteller, he guides us through Oswald's life, mocking him, but also revealing the tragedy behind the tuxedo, highlighting the Penguin's deep-seated narcissism and self-loathing.
This issue shows Penguin as more than a crime boss. We see him lonely, misunderstood, bullied for his looks, and desperately craving respect. Even when he becomes powerful, that childhood pain shapes every decision.
And then comes the turning point. Penguin falls in love with a beautiful woman named Violet, a young, kind-hearted woman, and for the first time in a long time, someone treats him like a human being. Not because he's rich or feared, but because she sees a spark of humanity in him.
No mockery, no disgust, no fear. Violet smiles at him, genuinely, and Penguin falls for her quickly, deeply. desperately. She becomes a symbol of what he's always wanted, a world where he's accepted. He showers her with gifts, attention, protection, and for a moment, you almost believe Penguin could be happy.
But Penguin's world is built on fragile glass, and it shatters during a visit to a fancy restaurant. When Penguin and Violet were enjoying their moment, a chef laughs behind their back, not kindly, but loudly.
And Penguin snaps. Penguin thought that the chef was making fun of him, and that boiled Penguin's blood, but Violet soothes him down. Penguin didn't take any action there, but he did something which horrified Violet later when she finds out.
He has mentally and psychologically tortured and humiliated the chef. It's vicious, but to Oswald, it's justice. The world mocked him his entire life, and he refuses to be treated that way ever again.
Penguin didn't kidnap him, but he already executed a plan that tortured and humiliated the chef. A few days later, the restaurant had a new owner and was forced to close. Its all employees were fired. After losing his job, the chef found that his girlfriend had been suddenly deported to Romania and his best friend arrested for child pornography, despite his insistence that he was framed. After a few days, a new tenant moved in next door and began blasting their stereo at all hours of day and night. Even the landlord stopped taking his calls. The church he attended was closed for fumigation after a bizarre infestation of killer bees. The park where he liked to sit and read was annexed and bulldozed. Then the chef, a recovering alcoholic, woke one morning to find that a 24-hour liquor store had opened across the street from his apartment. Less than 2 months after he'd crossed paths with the Penguin, a night janitor found the chef in a bus station restroom. He'd hanged himself. It's vicious, but to Oswald, it's justice. The world mocked him his entire life, and he refuses to be treated that way ever again.
Violet eventually discovers what Penguin did, that he hurt an innocent man simply for laughing. Not only that, she also discovered the poor, grim fates of other victims too from Penguin's scrapbook, where he keeps the newspaper clippings that has details of the victims, like a young starlet disfigured in a hit and run, sales clerk accidentally bites off her own tongue, some local schoolgirls were the victims of bizarre bird attack. His actions reveal a cold, manipulative sociopath who cannot tolerate any challenge to his self-image. His true impact is showing the depths of his cruelty, as he punishes anyone who makes him feel weak or ugly.
When the woman eventually finds out about his murders and calls him a monster, the Penguin cannot handle the truth of his actions or her rejection. In a horrifying display of vindictive spite, he has her captured and sold back into the human trafficking ring he rescued her from, all while calmly telling her their breakup is for the best.
Imagine a king who faked his death, escaped to a quiet life in Metropolis, only to be dragged back into Gotham's gutter throne game.
That's how The Penguin Volume 1, 2023 through 2024 begins. Oswald Cobblepot, broke, forgotten, removed from power. But no one escapes Gotham forever, and certainly not a man like him.
At the start, Oswald Cobblepot is broken and incognito. He's left Gotham after the events failsafe that cost him his empire. In this storyline, the Penguin framed Batman for his own apparent murder, which activated Batman's contingency plan, a powerful anti-Batman robot called Failsafe. While Batman was dealing with Failsafe, the Penguin used the distraction to retire to Metropolis with his fortune intact.
Oswald had 10 children who were poised to inherit his fortune after he was declared legally dead. An executor robot, tasked with finding all 10 children for the will reading, discovered that each of them had been strangled to death, except for one son, Ethan Cobblepot, aka Black Sun, who was in a coma after an attack. It was revealed that his twin children, Aiden and Addison Cobblepot, were responsible for murdering all their other 8 half-siblings to seize control of the Cobblepot Empire and the Iceberg Lounge. Murder for profit, huh? Meanwhile, Oswald was living quietly in Metropolis under the alias Paul Meredith. No Iceberg Lounge, no henchmen, just Oswald, trying to be someone normal, someone gentle, someone who doesn't need crime to breathe. He's enjoying life with his fiancée, Rita Wells.
But nobody with Oswald's record gets to stay retired for long. Government operatives track him, corner him, and offer him a deal coated in poison. Return to Gotham, rebuild your empire, work for us. They think they can pull his strings. They want a controlled, predictable criminal who can be used as an instrument. To them, Oswald is useful, smart, public, and manageable.
And that's exactly the pressure that pushes Oswald back toward Gotham. But here's the twist. Oswald agrees and then quietly decides he'll be the one doing the using. They don't know Oswald. Cobblepot doesn't follow orders, he rewrites them.
When Oswald steps back into Gotham, he doesn't roar. He whispers. He studies enemies, approaches old contacts, and recruits new ones. He builds slow, like a chess master rebuilding the board piece by piece.
He doesn't use brute force. He uses manners, favors, negotiations, psychological pressure. Every handshake hides a knife. Every conversation feels like a trap you didn't see until it snapped shut.
And then there's the Help, aka Farhad Al Ghul, son of the Al Ghul legacy, one of the deadliest men alive, polite, elegant, terrifyingly efficient, the kind of man who kills with grace and leaves the room cleaner than he found it. He is a master martial artist and expert strategist who, in the miniseries Batman Killing Time #3, defeated Batman. He is retroactively depicted as having trained many of the DC Universe's most skilled fighters, including Lady Shiva and Green Arrow.
So how does Oswald recruit a killer like that? Not with money, not with fear. Penguin doesn't beg. He offers something deeper: respect, purpose, a throne worth serving.
This Help watches Oswald rise from ashes with discipline and dignity. No chaos, no sloppiness, just pure control. And so, he joins him.
Once enlisted, the Help becomes Oswald's primary enforcer for delicate jobs. Disappearances, surgical takedowns, and intimidation done so cleanly you can't prove it was done at all.
With the Help by his side, Oswald starts reclaiming territories, cleanly, invisibly. Rivals vanish. Alliances shift. Penguin keeps the public face, the money, the politics. The Help cleans any mess quietly. It's the perfect symbiosis, a gentleman and his precise instrument.
As Penguin reconstructs, Batman and a handful of detectives begin to smell the pattern. The government, too, realizes they underestimated Oswald. He's no longer merely a tool. They wanted a puppet. Instead, they resurrected a king. Tension rises on all sides. Batman trying to expose the operation, agents trying to control it, rivals trying to strike back.
Conflicts erupt. Silent wars crop up across the city. Oswald Cobblepot tragically kills his twin children, Aiden and Addison Cobblepot. His actions are driven by a mixture of fear, control, and a warped sense of loyalty to his criminal empire. He viewed his children as a weakness and eliminated them to maintain his power and prevent future vulnerabilities. Every move Penguin makes is designed to keep him legally untouchable while undermining opponents morally and financially.
In the end, Penguin succeeds. He rebuilds his empire, takes back his status, and reveals that he was never the one who would be controlled. The government scheme collapses into bargaining and failure. Oswald kept any formal promises only to bend and twist them to his own advantage. Gotham's underworld resettles with Penguin, once again a central pillar, older, more cunning, and more surgical.
In the final stretch, Oswald completes his empire, not through rage, but through patience. The man who faked his death, played the government, outmaneuvered rivals, outsmarted Batman, now sits comfortably at his restored throne. The iceberg, colder and more dangerous than before. Impact and legacy. The Penguin's enduring legacy stems from his unique position in Batman's rogues gallery. He's not powered by a tragic accident or a singular psychosis in the same vein as Joker or Two-Face.
He's basically Gotham's corrupt mirror image, a bullied outcast who decided to master the very system that rejected him. If Bruce Wayne is the billionaire who fights for good,
I'm a trillionaire, actually.
Oswald Cobblepot is the billionaire, well, criminal equivalent, who uses his wealth and influence to control the darkness.
Exactly. He provides a grounded, often political criminal threat that contrasts sharply with the more fantastical villains. He reminds Batman that even without superpowers, greed, ambition, and cruelty can be just as devastating.
Also, his legacy extends into other media, TV shows, movies, video games, further reinforcing his place in pop culture villainy.
So why does Penguin matter to readers? Because he embodies a type of villain we can relate to, one who uses brains, charm, style, status, and who thrives not just in chaos, but in order of crime.
He remains a compelling figure because he represents the insidious, persistent nature of organized crime. He will always be a staple of Gotham's underworld. He might not fly or shoot lasers, but he knows how to get under Batman's skin.
Thanks for joining us on this journey through the criminal empire of the Penguin. If you loved learning about one of Gotham's most enduring villains, do us a favor.
Like the video, share it with your fellow comic fans, and hit that subscribe button so you'll be the first to catch our next legendary villain.
Ring that bell, leave us a comment below. What's your favorite Penguin story or issue? We'd love to hear your picks.
Bye-bye!